Corsair, Razer, what are they doing? So on the previous video, if you haven't seen the don't buy the Razer Huntsman Mini or the Ducky 1.2 Mini HyperX version, go check that video out. You guys hated on me for that one. I guess I wasn't clear when I started talking about the HyperX Ducky 1.2 Mini and stuff like that. Because y'all were like, the Ducky 1.2 Mini is only $99 and it is way better. I meant the HyperX one. Anyway, I'm not really worried about it. You guys showed, the people that understood showed the love. It's fine. But what we're here to talk about today is the new Corsair K65 versus the Razer Huntsman Mini. Which is better, ups and downs, pros and cons, and what they should do. So Corsair came out with their K65 60% keyboard, which from what I'm seeing is not that bad. There's definitely things that need to be upgraded, and it's the same for the Razer Huntsman Mini. It's not a bad keyboard, it just needs some changes. So the K65 RGB Mini by Corsair, their little slogan for it, small size, big attitude. The main selling point for this is that the Corsair is now powered by Axon, which gives it up to 4 times its native 8000 APR hyper pulling for key scanning, which I didn't know I understood. I didn't know what that means. I didn't know what I understood.
What did you say?
I didn't know what that meant at all. But luckily, Random Frank P, a guy I like to watch all the time doing all kinds of those like $50 budget things for like the month or whatever. I like watching those a lot. He actually did a review on this keyboard, which I'm going to be referencing a lot in this video, especially when we're talking about the Corsair K65. So he explains it pretty much better. It's supposed to be like when you're thinking about response time when it comes to certain peripherals, that's what it's basically talking about. But when you're and like I said, if you want to go get more in depth about it, because I don't have it hands-on, but if you want to see a hands-on review on it, go check it out. I watched that video and I kind of looked into details about it, and I'm going off of what I know. Basically, the 8000 hertz hyperpolling for the actual keyboard isn't that effective. I don't see that changing, like, you're going to be a better gamer because you buy this keyboard. I'm not seeing that. What I do see, though, that the Razer Huntsman Mini doesn't have is their switches. If you didn't know, the Razer Huntsman Mini comes with the Razer optical switches. So I'm surprised Corsair didn't actually use Corsair switches, because I believe their other keyboards use their Corsair brand switches. These actually use Cherry MX Speed switches. Now, obviously, neither of these are hot swappable, which is, in my opinion, a terrible decision. Which, in my opinion, is probably better than the Razer clicky switches and the linear switches that they have in the Razer Huntsman Mini. I like those compared to the Razer optical switches that they have in the Razer Huntsman Mini. That's personal preference, so Corsair kind of leads on that front. Now, sound test-wise, listening to the stabilizers and the switches alone, they're not that great. Especially on the K65. It's very like pingy. You can hear when you click the spacebar, the ping. And another thing about the Corsair K65, their layout. Because, like, say you have Corsair Vengeance Pro, like I do. Phone, shut up! Corsair Vengeance actually works with IQ, so I can connect, if I got this K65, I could use that with my RAM and it'd be like the same color, or I can make it the same color and kind of match the flow. But with Razer, you can't do that unless they have a Razer computer peripheral. So that's something I'd look into. Now, something that the Razer Huntsman Mini does really well is they actually put the USB port. I wanted to talk about this. The USB Type-C port is actually to the left, not all the way to the left, kind of like my GK61 here, or on my MZ60, which if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's amazing. I honestly don't mind where the USB port is unless it's in the middle. And that's what the K65 did from Corsair. They kind of just plopped it in the middle. And actually, watching back the Random Frank P video, he actually mentions it's not even centered. It's off-centered by like a couple millimeters, centimeters, something like that. It's off by a lot. Small little things that the K65 did. They have like a little textured spacebar that also is shine through. They're all, I think they're both double shot PBT keycaps, so they're both going to have a little bit of shine. But that's understandable, but they did do the cool spacebar that you can trade out with the normal spacebar that's on there that has the textured feel that also has shine through. So Pretty cool little detail. Nothing that will change the gaming experience, but it's pretty cool. Now, what I will say, K65 has a big advantage over with the Razer Huntsman Mini is you can personalize the keyboard a lot more than you can on the Razer Huntsman Mini. Now, the reason I say this is because they're using the Cherry MX Speeds, which have the Cherry MX style keycaps. So you don't have to just use Razer keycaps like the Razer Huntsman Mini. The Razer Huntsman Mini is literally using Razer optical switches, which don't match any keycap. This is a Cherry styled thing. It's got the little Cherry slot, so you can actually put Cherry MX switches or Kale box switches or anything that has that little plus on it. Now, when you look at the Razer switch, it has that plus, but it doesn't have that actual design on the outside, so it's not going to fit. So customization wise, the K65 is a lot better. Even though you can't hot swap the switches, you can actually customize the top of the keyboard to your own liking. So if you have some custom keycaps that you bought on Amazon for like 20-some bucks or on drop for like $100, you could actually use them. On the Razer Huntsman Mini, there's no customization unless you use Razer products. And that really annoys me. That honestly is super annoying. I don't get why they can't allow some more customization, but it's how they do. So looking into this, I would like to mention the prices. So the K65 right now, if you go into the website, you can buy for $109, no tax. Free shipping with $79 plus orders. So if you just bought this alone, you have no shipping price, but you still have tax. And the Razer Huntsman Mini is $120. I don't know if it's anything about shipping wise. I don't know anything. They don't mention it. So if I were to pick a keyboard out of these options, this is what I would pick and what I would do to the other to make it a better option and how they can improve and make this worth $109 or $120. For the Corsair one, I would move the USB to the far left or the far right side of the keyboard. Just looks aesthetically better. My opinion, may not be your opinion, but in my opinion, that's where I'd put it. That's where most other keyboards would put it. So if you do have a custom coiled cable, it's going to look nicer. Next thing I'd do, I'd get rid of that pinging noise by clipping them. If they're not already clipped, the bottom of the stabilizers for the spacebar and all the other switches that have the stabilizers, I'd cut them and pre-lube them. I believe they're pre-lubed. If not, they need to be lubed. So if not, I'd buy them. I'd take them off and lube them myself. But if I were to sell it, I would already have them pre-lubed like the GK61 and the MZ60 already were. And it sounded a lot better than the pinging sound you'd get from the K65. On the keycap side, you're doing a great job. Allowing more customization, this is perfect. I love what you're doing with that. Keep that. I forgot to mention, but the K65 also has a keycap puller. And I think the Razer Huntsman Mini also does. Change that for a wire puller. Like, don't use these. I've had to use this for who knows how long, and it's not good. It ruins keycaps. And those are the main things I'd switch to those. That nothing really else for a Corsair product would need to be changed. That's pretty solid. And I'd spend $109, $110 on that keyboard. Maybe a hot swapped PCB. That's also dependent on what you do, because if they threw a hot swap PCB in there, things would be different. The Razer Huntsman Mini. Now, what would I do to the Razer Huntsman Mini? Now, the Razer Huntsman Mini. What would I do to this keyboard? Well, first thing, allow us to switch the keycaps. Either come out with more keycaps varieties than like the Quartz version. Like right here, it literally says Razer PBT keycap upgrade set Quartz. It's a pink colored keycap. Come out with some custom Razer keycaps other than the Quartz and stuff like that. Maybe like a custom design, that goes with your switches. Not just this colored change. Like you can buy white ones or you can buy black ones or you can buy pink ones. Give it a little bit of design, spice it up a little bit. That matches. I can't speak. That matches your switches, the design on the bottom. So it'd actually, be a little more custom because I mean, honestly, you're getting either white, black, or quartz, and it's not that impressive. Versus getting like a GK61, MZ60 is better for customization. This is definitely not the option. So allow that, or change the switches to a Gatoron or an or a Cherry MX switch that allows us to change the caps. Where your USB is sitting is perfectly fine. Keep it there. Works just fine. It's a little farther to the left versus the K65. Looks good. I like the low profile design. Keep that. That's fine. Your RGB is literally the best RGB I've ever seen, so keep that. Now, I know some people love these keyboards as they are, because the Corsair K65 alone already looks sick. Like, it's got a cool little design on it, and some people don't want to change it. So for $109, if you like that, go for it. And same with the Razer Huntsman Mini. They do have nice white, black, and quartz keycaps, and those do look nice. In my opinion, though, I do like to make things custom and my own. So this does not appeal to me. I don't look at this and like, dang, I'm really stuck with 3 options. I don't know, man. Some people really love these keyboards, and I don't want to offend anybody for it, but I do want to let you know, if you are going for customization, these are not the best options unless they did the changes I discussed. Out of these 2 options, I would pick the K65. The K65 has less things they need to change, and it already is a sick keyboard. Although the AK hyperpolling, whatever megahertz hyperpolling thing is nice, it's not going to change the impact of how you game. And alone, those small little minor details that they could do already is better than the Razer Huntsman Mini. So yeah, that's my thoughts on these 2 keyboards. If you guys do want to see more of these videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. All the links to that stuff will be there, so if you guys want to go see that and check out those videos, go ahead. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.